What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're all doing well today. We are back on some MX bikes and we are on Silver Dollar MX. This is the latest release from King MX, sorry, 818, and he's the same person who made Scrub and Dirt, which is another track that I really enjoy. And I didn't think I'd be making this video right now. I just hopped on the game, just have a bit of fun and run some laps, and I saw the Tombow release some nice new kind of retro looking life gear, which I threw on, which I thought goes really well with the old KX from the CBMX pack. And the reason I've just started recording really is I don't think I've ever had like such a nice flow around a track in such a short amount of time. Literally within the first 2-3 laps I was absolutely on rails, and I just wanted to show it off to you guys, really. I've not got any particular topic to talk about today. I'm sure I'll go on a rant at some point. I just want to really for you guys to sit back, kind of take the track in and enjoy it for what it's worth. If you've not downloaded it yet, obviously it will be in the description as always. I think you'll really enjoy it, and I'll put the skin as well that I'm using today in there. Probably won't put the bike because obviously it's part of the CBMX pack, which is obviously still a little bit of a no-no. But I'm sure if you look for it hard enough on the net, you'll find it somewhere. And so, yeah, this is the second track, I believe, by King MX 818. And it seems like he was quite motivated to do another one after all the positive feedback after Scrub and Dirt. So it just goes to show, if you guys leave some nice kind words on our loved content creators, I'm going over the bars, oh my god, on our content creators at work really, then it just motivates them to do more. So keep up the good work. And I would say, after just doing a couple of laps around here, King, do another one. Absolutely love them. I feel like this is the perfect middle ground because it's his tracks are based off of replicas but changed to work better in bikes. You know, if some tracks that you put in bikes, if they're just strict replicas, they don't work amazingly. They might be too tight and twisty and don't work with the game's physics too well. Maybe there's some jumps that are way too small for the power that we have as well. So some tracks do need mixing up a little bit. There's one track that I really want to be put in the game that someone could make at some point, which is Wild Tracks in Chippenham in the UK. It's a track that I grew up riding all the time, but that being said, I feel like there's 100% parts of the track that would be way too tight and twisty, so it probably needs scaling up or amending slightly. And that's exactly what King has done here. He said he's made some of the jumps just completely different from how they are. The general layout is meant to be the same as the real Silver Dollar track. However, he's made it just work with bikes, and I don't see that as a bad thing whatsoever. I still think you can kind of call things replicas and have your own little twist on it. That's absolutely fine by me, and he's done a very good job. There are some bits that I'm still trying to get my head around, work out what's what. I keep forgetting what comes after each jump, but we'll get there eventually. Oh my god. Okay. I've just completely ended myself there. This bike does not like pulling away without me using the clutch, which probably sounds like quite a silly thing to say. It's like, of course you do, but I just have a habit of not doing it and letting the auto clutch do its own thing. What I will say, compared to his other track, Scrub and Dirt, I much prefer the decals on this track. I like the grey dirt rather than the dark kind of orangey brown one that we had on Scrub and Dirt. And I feel like as a whole, this track's got a nicer flow to it. I feel like you can flow around the whole track lap after lap a bit more easily, whereas Scrub and Dirt had some really massive booters that were sometimes a little bit difficult to get absolutely perfect. So some of the jump faces could be a little bit difficult to predict sometimes, but I really like this. And I've said it time and time again, as new people come onto the track making scene, it's really nice, from my point of view at least, where I get to go through and kind of review and test all these tracks for you guys to see. I kind of get a good gist of just tracking people's work over time and how it's progressing and how it's improving. I really want to try tie tapping that nicely, but I feel like it'll go completely downhill. I don't think it'll work well whatsoever. I also, as soon as I turn the mic on and start talking, my concentration goes and I don't ride quite as well as I should do. I am recording this on Saturday, and thank you for everyone that tuned by into the live stream yesterday. I was trying to compete in the aerial supercross on an altar, and if you haven't watched the stream back, just do go and do so. I'll give you like 5 seconds before I give you any spoilers. And and we did manage to end up winning that, which was very I don't want to say impressive because I feel like there was a lot of luck involved. You know, I got a very, very good start. For some reason, the only thing the Alta seems genuinely good at is getting out the gate. It's quite nippy out the gate, and it lacks in the like the top end department. If it was the Atlanta start, for example, I'd be screwed. You know, I'd be out of speed by the time I get halfway down the straight. But it was a very, very short start at Foxborough, so it just played into my hands very, very nicely. And I won't be doing it again because, as I say, I feel like I've used up that luck. I did do the NA race afterwards. I didn't record it or anything, but I went back to my Husky, and oh my god, it felt so nice. I felt like I had so much grip, I had so much power everywhere, and I did end up winning that one as well, barely. That was the closest race that I've come to losing in quite some time. Keegan was absolutely on rails all day, closed in me on the heat, but couldn't quite get there, and then was closing in on me in the main as well, and couldn't quite get it. Some lappers came into play. I got quite fortunate, but he was fastest all night. I had nothing there, and it's only my starts that are really keeping me in it at this point, which is why I keep saying I'm a big advert. Practice your damn starts, even if you got to spare 10-20 minutes at one point during one day. That's all you need. Just go practice them. When it's done, it's done. You'll have the technique down at that point. The technique on the Alta was so wild. Obviously, there's no clutch on the Alta, so not like a normal bike where you can just hold the clutch in and go. So when you're actually moving on the Alta and you hold the clutch in, it doesn't do anything, which is absolutely fine. It makes sense. For some reason, when you come to a stop and you hold it in and you accelerate, it like half works. So you will start your wheel spin the back end, essentially. It's almost like you're just holding your front brake in and just doing a burnout on the gate. So if you time it correctly, you can almost get like a very, very slow rolling start, and it just worked out really well. Again, it's one of them things that I took 2 minutes to practice before the actual race, and it paid off. I imagine if I'd just done the normal thing that I would expect to do on the Alta, which is just don't accelerate until the gate drops, it wouldn't have gone quite so smoothly. But it was a very frustrating, but then at the same time very rewarding night, because I didn't expect it. And I was in Discord with like Reese and Aiden and a couple others, and I said it's almost like it's a win-win situation, because if I do bad, I'm on an Alta, of course I'm going to do bad. If I win, oh my god, I'm on an Alta and I've won. It's unreal. I saw some very interesting comments when I watched the stream back, because for the main, obviously I can't read chat during the main, so I quite often go back and watch it and see what everyone's talking about. And I feel like I might have oversold how good the Alta can be in that, because I got very, very lucky. Saw so many comments that, like, people saying it's very easy to go fast on the Alta because you haven't got to worry about changing gear, which is where people lose time, and other people saying, oh, I've won races online on the Alta 4, it's really not too bad. And what you have to understand is, like, public lobby and motocross is one thing. When you get into a, like, quote-unquote pro-level supercross race where every little bit of power and traction you can get is vital and is crucial in, like, could be getting dead last because you've got an awful start, could be first place because you've got the whole shot. It's everything, you know. It's absolutely massive, which is why I felt like it was such a good accomplishment. Just to address a few of those things, when it comes to changing gears, a lot of us pros, we time our gear changes usually when we're in the air to change up gears, or when our wheels are slightly off the ground, if it's kind of, you know, going through whoops and stuff, so we don't actually lose any time when we shift. So that's kind of like debunking that ever so slightly. And to do with the speed as well, the thing is with the Alta is it's got a hell of a lot of acceleration, really good at that. But what it then does is it makes the traction very, very difficult, because a lot more acceleration means more wheel spin, which I did notice. I had to be so gentle on the throttle everywhere. You then got the issue of, which I might have explained at another point, but happy to kind of reiterate it again. With the, like, obviously you run it on overclocked all the time. The bike needs to be run on overclocked, or it's just it's a nightmare. But when it comes to the gearing and the speed, you kind of have it two ways with the Alta. You either give it quite a lot of top speed, and it is at its bottom, like, it's got no bottom end whatsoever. It takes a hell of a long time to get up to speed. But I imagine when it comes to things like really fast nationals tracks, if it's like Baja, something like that, then it could work quite well, because you don't really have to slow down at all. You can just carry that speed around the entire track. Or you can go the opposite way and give it good acceleration. So you've got a good amount of bottom end, but you run out of top speed very, very quickly, which on the surface looks like a good thing for Supercross, but again, it makes it very, very slippery coming out the corners, and so easy for the back end to come around a tiny bit and break all your tractions. You can't hit any half-decent lines, but at the same time, it feels like you still don't have enough kind of oomph to get even like a triple out of a corner on it. Very, very difficult to do, which is why I do feel like, as I say, I got quite lucky again, because the track that we got, Foxborough, it was a weird one. You know, there was some of the lines were a bit weird, and there was even one rhythm on the track that once we got past the kind of first 5 minutes and the track got a little bit rougher with the erode, even the 450s, all the 250s were, but even all the 450s were as well, just doubling through this entire rim section, because the jumps didn't have much of much lift to them, didn't have much pop, so you just trying to triple anything in the middle was just wasn't really possible. It was possible on like qualifying laps and the start of the race, and the track was nice and smooth, but again on the Ultra it wasn't. So all night I was just doubling all these jumps. So when the race came round, and that was actually the race line, I'm like, oh sweet, I've got this in the bag now. I've been practicing these lines all night. I haven't been trying the other lines. But then it did make it difficult for me when it came to the NA race afterwards, and I hopped on a normal bike, and those lines were possible, and I had to kind of relearn the track again. But you know, it was all right. We moved. It wasn't the end of the world, and as I say, we came out with a win somehow. And I'm not going to kind of tempt fate again. I might mix it up for next week on a different bike. I don't know what it will be. Some people have suggested trying the Suzuki out. I've ridden the Suzuki multiple times over the course of this season, just testing it out on the tracks, just in general, obviously not in actual races. There's something about it that I can't get my head around. It's the way it turns, I believe. Maybe I'll have to ask someone like Aiden for a proper setup, as he seems to be the Suzuki king, the one who originally popularised it. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. The win streak needs to come to an end eventually. I feel like my luck will run out fairly soon. As you can see, I've kind of oh, hang on, I'm going to crash now as I'm talking about how well I'm riding. I kind of zoned out a bit here. I'm just putting down real solid laps, and this is, as I say, it's such an enjoyable track. Got there you go. Should I just plug King MX's YouTube channel there real quick? I didn't even know he had one. I didn't see anything like that on Scrub and Dirt, but King MX818 on YouTube, if anyone wants to go and support him, give him some nice words. And I mean, feel free to go onto the track post on MXB Mods as well and let him know your thoughts on the track. I feel like these videos are how I do it. I believe he did comment on Scrub and Dirt as well, so I'm sure he kind of tunes in on these videos every now and then. Hopefully he gets to see this one, and I just really enjoy it. The off track, quite nice looking around. Obviously I don't know what the track looks like IRL. I can't tell you how many trees and such there are in person. It's got some nice banners dotted around, some nice self promos and stuff, and a couple of objects that I think were kind of pre-made for the community by Agitato, I believe. He does a lot of stuff for the community to put on their track, so really good seeing everyone kind of working side by side, and just a really nice, enjoyable, flowy track that I really do enjoy. And if you've played it, let me know your thoughts on it as well. I would find it hard to believe if anybody flat out just said no, the track is trash, which might sound like I'm coming from a perspective of your opinion's wrong, my opinion's right. But I feel like so strongly that it is such an enjoyable, flowy track that they're quite rare. You know, it's difficult nowadays to get tracks where you'd quite happily just ride around it for a couple hours on end with no issues. I feel like quite a lot of tracks you'll do your 5-10 laps, be like, yeah, that's a pretty cool track, and then like never touch them again. But no, this is a really good job, and I look forward to more stuff from you, King. Hopefully you got some more stuff in the works, or you have an idea of what you want to do for us, because again, I feel like this is a step up from Scrub and Dirt, and I already like Scrub and Dirt, so that's saying something. And I'm just very appreciative for you kind of joining this our track making community and making some good things for us to ride and enjoy ourselves on. So that'll do it from me. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video as always. If you did, please do drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. I hope you have a lovely rest of the day, whatever it is you're up to, and until catch you in the next video, peace.
I'm working hard, I'm sacrificing my life, I'm sacrificing my mind, I'm sacrificing my sanity, but most importantly, I'm sacrificing my time. Boy, I feel fine, I feel like I am a king. Honestly, I can't complain, even with faith that's the size of a grain of some salt, I will still move a mountain and do what I want.